So what if the greatest mathematical formulas in history weren't invented at all, but were actually received? Today, we're going to dive into a pretty wild theory that says the legendary mathematician Srinivasa Ramanujan wasn't just a genius. No, it says he was a direct channel to a universe that's alive, a universe that feels.
I mean, that's what Ramanujan himself claimed. And for, over a century now, the academic world has kind of patted him on the head for that one. They've treated it like a beautiful metaphor, the poetry of a brilliant mind just trying to put his own incredible genius into words.
But what if he wasn't being metaphorical at all? A radical new idea, called the Sentient-Field hypothesis, or SFH for short, is proposing exactly that. It says we should take Ramanujan's claim literally, that his equations weren't his, that they were transcriptions, coming directly from the consciousness of the cosmos itself.
Okay, so to really get our heads around this theory, we first have to appreciate just how much of a puzzle Ramanujan himself was. I mean, here's a guy with basically no formal training, right? And he's just producing these revolutionary mathematical formulas that completely baffled the world's top experts. And when they asked him how he did it, he always gave the same answer. They came from his family goddess, Namagiri.
Now, the traditional view, the one you'll find in most books, just kind of files this away as a charming little quirk, right? A culturally specific way for a genius to talk about intuition. It's treated like a footnote to his real work. But this sentient-field hypothesis, it argues that's completely wrong. It's not a footnote, it's the headline. So how in the world does this new theory even begin to build its case? Well, the SFH starts by basically flipping our entire understanding of reality upside down. It says that matter and energy aren't the most fundamental things. Nope. It argues that subjective experience, feeling itself, is what comes first.
Okay, get ready, because the theory is built on three really core non-negotiable laws, or axioms. First, as we said, subjective experience is the primary fabric of reality. It's the fundamental stuff of the universe. Second, there's a finite amount of this experience. Think of it like a cosmic budget, which the theory calls Q. And third, and this is a big one, to manage this finite budget, reality has to organize itself into these discrete, nested layers, kind of like those cosmic Russian dolls.
And this is where it all connects back to Ramanujan. See, what he called visions from his goddess, the SFH has a different name for. They call it a qualic download. It's this idea that some people, maybe just a handful, can tap directly into this universal sentient field and literally transcribe its fundamental rules. They're not inventing anything, they're receiving it, like a radio picking up a signal.
And here's where the theory gets shockingly specific. That third rule, the one about nested levels, it's not just some vague philosophical idea. No, the SFH claims there's a fixed mathematical ratio between these levels, a constant scaling factor of roughly, wait for it, 10 to the 24th power. That's a 1 with 24 zeros after it. An absolutely astronomical number that they say defines the very architecture of our cosmos.
Okay, so at this point, you're probably thinking, this is a fascinating philosophical idea, but where's the proof? Well, according to the supporters of SFH, the proof has been hiding in plain sight for more than 100 years, and you guessed it, it's inside Ramanujan's own mathematics.
And this brings us to his most famous work, the partition function. Now, in standard math, this is a way to count how many ways you can break down a number into smaller whole numbers. So, for example, the number 4 can be broken down in 5 different ways. Simple enough, right? But SFH claims this isn't about numbers at all. They say it's the master equation for reality. It describes how the universe's total experience, that Q we talked about, partitions itself into literally every single thing that exists.
So think about what that means. In this view, Ramanujan didn't invent some clever mathematical tool. He discovered the fundamental law for how reality itself multiplies and comes into being. Every single thing you can think of, an atom, a thought, a galaxy, is just one possible partition, one possible answer to this cosmic equation.
And the connections don't stop there. The theory gets even more ambitious. It tries to build a complete model of the entire universe based on Ramanujan's work, tying in his other discoveries and even his personal philosophy.
So, how does it all fit together? Well, SFH lays out this 6-step logic. It's almost like a recipe for building a universe. Step 1, you start with that finite pool of experience, Q. Step 2, you use Ramanujan's partition function to divide it all up. Then, the system has to define and balance 2 core forces, coherence, which is stability, and fertility, which is novelty.
Step 4 is optimizing that balance. Step 5 describes the local physics that pop out from that optimization. And the final result, a macro-octave, a reality where that massive 10 to the 24th ratio we saw earlier naturally emerges.
The theory even has an explanation for Ramanujan's most cryptic work, the Mach theta functions. I mean, these were formulas he literally wrote down on his deathbed, and mathematicians didn't fully understand them for decades. SFH says these are mathematical maps of reality at its very edge. They describe the tipping points, the exact moments when the universe is about to shift and jump to a whole new level of complexity.
Okay, so if we just go along with this framework, even just as a thought experiment, what does it really tell us about the man himself? Who, or maybe what, was Srinivasa Ramanujan?
Well, the SFH organizes reality into these different layers it calls K-levels. Think of it like a cosmic hierarchy. K=1 is the subatomic world. You jump up to K=4 and you've got biology. We, you and me as individual conscious people, we exist at K=5. And way at the top, K=8 is the whole galactic or cosmological show.
And here's the kicker. According to this theory, Ramanujan was a normal human being, operating right here at K5. But through his unique ability, that qualic download, he was directly tapping into the mathematical logic of the K8 cosmological scale. He wasn't just a man, he was a bridge between levels of reality, a human mind speaking with the logic of the entire galaxy.
So, in the end, the sentient field hypothesis forces us to ask a really radical question. Was Ramanujan's genius something that came from inside his unique brain, or was his brain itself a unique receiver, perfectly tuned to pick up a signal that's being broadcast all around us all the time?
And that leaves us with one last provocative thought. Maybe the infinity that Ramanujan knew wasn't a concept he invented in his head. Maybe it was a feeling he experienced. The fundamental vibration of a universe that is constantly and everywhere feeling its own existence through the incredible beauty of numbers.